Hello students, so today we are going to discuss our first lesson of science paper 1, that is gravitation. So in this lesson we are going to discuss gravitation, circular motion and centripetal force, Kepler's law, Newton's universal law of gravitation, acceleration due to gravitational force of the earth, free fall and escape velocity. So these are the some concepts which we have to discuss in this lesson. So let's start with this lesson. We have seen in the previous standards that the gravitational force is a universal force and it acts on only between two objects on the earth but also between any two objects in the universe. Let us now learn how this force was discovered. Gravitation concept you might have heard from your 6th standard or 5th standard. You might have this heard this word. So we have discussed earlier in earlier standards that there is a force in between any two objects which are on the earth. So these two objects, and there is also a force between the two objects in the universe. So what kind of the force is that? Let us discuss in brief. So first concept, that is the gravitation. Now what is gravitation? As we have learned, the phenomena of the gravitation was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. So Sir Isaac Newton was the scientist who had discovered this phenomena or the concept of the gravitation. So you have to underline this name of this scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. As the story goes, he discovered the force by seeing an apple fall from the tree on the ground, and he wondered why all apples fall vertically downward and not at the angle to the vertical. Why do they not fly off in the horizontal direction? As you know the story of the Newton, and when he was sitting under the apple tree, whenever the apple fall from the tree, that time he observed that why all apples fall on the ground in a vertically downward direction. Why not they fly off in the horizontal direction? After much thought, he came to the conclusion that the earth must be attracting the apple towards itself, and this attractive force must be directed toward the center of the earth. After so much thinking, or after so much observation, he came to the conclusion that earth must be attracting the apple, and that's why apple is falling vertically downward direction on the earth, and there is an attractive force which is must which must be directed towards the center of the earth. The direction from the apple on the tree to the center of the earth is a vertical direction at the position of the apple, and thus apple falls vertically downward. So he came to the final conclusion why apple falls to the ground vertical in a vertically downward direction. So here figure 1.1 on the left shows an apple tree on the earth. The force on an apple on the tree is towards the center of the earth, that is along the perpendicular from the position of the apple to the surface of the earth. The figure also shows the gravitational force between the earth and the moon. This figure here you can observe. In this figure you can see here the tree, apple tree they have showing, and this apple is falling from that tree in a downward direction. So simultaneously earth is applying the gravitational force on that apple. That's why that apple is falling on the ground or in a downward direction. The figure also shows the gravitational force between the earth and the moon. Simultaneously in this figure you can observe there they have shown the picture of the moon. So whenever the earth applying a gravitational force on the apple, at that same time earth applying the gravitational force on moon also. So the distance in the figures are not according to the scale. here you have to remember this, because this is only just a diagram for sake of understanding. So here distance doesn't matter. So Newton thought that if the force of gravitation acts on apple on the tree at the different heights from the surface of the earth, can it also act on objects at even greater heights much farther away from the earth, like for an example the moon? Can it act on the even further object like other planets and the sun? So he start thinking on it. If the earth can apply the gravitational force on an apple which is falling from the tree, then the same earth must be implementing the force on the moon as well as the other planets which are revolving or which are further away from this earth. Next point, that is the force and the motion. So what is force and the motion? We have seen that force is necessary to change the speed as well as the direction of the motion of the object. As you know, in earlier standard also you have seen this concept, that is the force. Why we require force? To change the speed of any object and to change the direction of the motion of that object. If we want to change the direction of any object which is in the motion, or if we want to change the speed of any object which is in the motion, then we require force. Next, introduction to the scientist. Just read it and try to remember. Great scientist Sir Isaac Newton 1642 to 1727 was one of the greatest scientists of recent times. He was born in England. He gave his laws of motion, equations of motion and the theory of gravity in his book Principia. Before this book was written, Kepler had given the three laws describing the planetary motion. So here you have to remember which book is written by the Sir Isaac Newton. So book of Principia. So here you will underline book Principia. Which book is written by the Newton? Principia. So before this book was written, Kepler had given three laws describing the planetary motion. However, the reason why planets move in the way described by Kepler's law was not known. Till that time it was not known to anyone why the planets are moving in the sky, or why the planets are moving around the sun or revolving around the sun in particular orbit. So Newton, with his theory of gravity, mathematically derived Kepler's law. Kepler was one scientist who had discovered the laws which we called as a Kepler law. So in that law he only just explained how the planet are revolving around the earth and what is their path, but he was not able to explain why they are following that path. So afterwards Newton was such a scientist who has proved that mathematically, by making a derivation, how these Kepler's laws are correct regarding the planetary motion. So in addition to this, Newton did groundbreaking work in several areas including light, heat, sound and mathematics. He invented a new branch of mathematics, and this is called calculus and has a wide-ranging applications in physics and mathematics. He was the first scientist to construct a reflecting telescope. You have to remember, just remember this. Newton was the first scientist who discovered or construct first reflecting telescope. Next, and very again important point, we can say circular motion and the centripetal force. What is circular motion? As you know, the motion which is in the circle and the centripetal force. So these two concepts are interrelated with each other. So how? Let us discuss. Here they have given one example, that is, tie a stone to one end of the string, take the other end in your hand and rotate the string so that the stone moves along the circle as shown in the figure 1.2a. So here you have to observe this figure number 1.2a. Are you applying any force on the stone? In which direction is this force acting? How will you stop this force from acting? What will be the effects on the stone? So such a many questions are there regarding the motion of that stone. So as long as we are holding the string, we are pulling the stone towards us. So that is towards the center of the circle, and are applying force towards it. The force stop acting if we release the string. What will happen if we release that string? In this case, the stone will fly off along a straight line which is the tangent to the circle at the position of the stone. So here in this diagram you can observe, if we release the stone or if we release the string, then what will happen? Stone will fly off in this direction, because that is the direction of its velocity at that instant of time, because that is the position of the stone, and at that position that velocity is there, that particular velocity that stone is having, and because of that particular velocity at that point, whenever we release that stone will fly off. So you may recall that we have performed a similar activity previously, in which 5 rupee coin kept on a rotating circular disc flies off the disc along the tangent to the disc. You have to remember, whenever the force applying on that particular object which is moving or the rotating in a circular manner, when that force stop acting on that particular object, that time that object get released. It might be a stone, it might be a 5 rupee coin, and whenever that object get released, it always move in a tangent direction, or it is the direction of its movement is always tangent to the circular path. Just you have to remember this thing in this concept. So thus the force act on any object moving along the circle, and it is the directed towards the center of the circle. This is called the centripetal force. So here you have to remember this definition. What is centripetal force? Question will come in exam. Define centripetal force. So you can write, a force acts on any object moving along a circle and it is directed towards the center of the circle. If that object or the force which is acts on that object is directed toward the center of the circle, then this is called as a centripetal force. So centripetal means center seeking. This also you should mention while writing definition as well as while explaining the term. What is meant by centripetal? So centripetal means the center seeking, that is the object tries to go towards the center of the circle because of this force. So this is the total overall explanation about the centripetal force. What is meant by centripetal force, or question will come in an exam, explain the term centripetal force. So that time you can write this. Next, you know that the moon, which is the natural satellite of the earth, goes round it in a definite orbit. The direction of motion of the moon as well as its speed constantly changes during this motion. Do you think some force is constantly acting on the moon? What must be the direction of this force? How would its motion have been if no such a force acted on it? Do the other planets in the solar system revolve around the sun in the similar fashion? Is a similar force acting on them? What must be its direction? So there are many questions because of this concept, that is gravitation as well as this centripetal force. The same fundamental rule or the same fundamental concept or the principle is applicable for the planets which are in the universe. So from the above activity, examples and questions, it is clear that for the moon to go around the earth, there must be a force which is exerted on the moon, and this force must be exerted by the earth, which attracts the moon towards itself. And similarly, the sun must be attracting the planets, including the earth, towards itself. So this is the final conclusion from the simple experiment, that is the centripetal force. So they want to suggest only one thing, that is moon. Why the moon is revolving around the earth? Because earth must be exerted the force of attraction towards the moon, or earth must be exerted the force on the moon. Similar way, the sun also exerting or attracting the planets. That's why earth as well as other planets are revolving around the sun. So in this video we have discussed about concept of gravitation. So remaining part we will discuss in next video. Thank you.